Hey guys, Keagan here. Welcome back to the channel, and I'm back with a brand new video for you guys. And before we get started with today's video, you guys probably noticed something a little different with the background. And I'm gonna show, well, you can probably notice the difference right now. Well, I got some posters hanging on my wall, which I'm just gonna show you really quickly. So, as you can tell, I got some posters hanging on my wall now. I moved the paintings I did in high school that used to be over my bed railing there, and I put these posters up. These two posters I showed on my Blu-ray and 4K Blu-ray collection video that I did back in March. You might remember me showing those two posters. Those two posters I got at the Old Strathcona Antique Mall about a year ago, and I recently just hanged them up on the wall. And the 28 Days Later poster actually came in a frame, but I threw out the frame and just put the poster itself on the wall. And that Waves poster I recently picked up at the Metro Cinema when they were having a poster sale recently. But that's not really the point of this video, so let's get into the video itself. So today's video I'm bringing you guys is another edition of Keagan's movie reviews, and today's film I'm going to be talking about is the 1975 film Barry Lyndon, which was based on a novel by William Makepeace Thakeray, I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. And this film was written, produced, and directed by Stanley Kubrick. And this film was actually the very first Stanley Kubrick movie I ever watched. And I've seen this film twice. The first time I watched this film was back in May 2016 when I was 14 years old at the time, which was 6 years ago. And yesterday I rewatched the film for the second time at the Metro Cinema, which is the local indie theater in Edmonton. The same theater I went to when I saw T-Tain, Drive My Car, and when I saw Boogie Nights for the second time. And I also saw Inland Empire. And the last time I was there was back in July when I saw the 4K re-release of Lost Highway on my birthday, which I did a review on a while ago. And yesterday I saw Barry Lyndon for the second time, but this time on the big screen. And we'll get to my thoughts on the movie a little bit later, but right now we're going to get into the storyline of the movie. So let's take a dive into the storyline of Barry Lyndon. So Barry Lyndon is set in the 18th century and follows an Irishman named Barry Redmond, played by Ryan O'Neal, who lives in a small village in Ireland and falls in love with his cousin. But when he realizes his cousin is engaged to a captain, he challenges the captain to a duel, which of course he wins. Barry wins the duel. However, he's forced to flee the village and go to Dublin. However, on the way, he gets robbed. He gets robbed from his horse, from his father's sword and pistol, and is left with nothing. So he decides to join the British Army as a resort. However, during the 7-Year War, he decides to desert the British Army and goes on the run from the British Army. After Barry deserts the British Army, he joins the Peruvian Army and saves the captain, and eventually moves off to England and becomes a gambler, where he then falls in love with Lady Lyndon, a wealthy woman played by Marisa Berenson. I believe that's how you pronounce her last name. And after Lady Lyndon's husband dies, Barry marries Lady Lyndon, and he becomes Barry Lyndon and becomes a nobleman. And all good things starts to happen to him, and then eventually everything has to come to an end eventually, and things start to fall apart for Barry. And without giving away too much else of the story, that's basically the storyline in a nutshell. In a spoiler-free way, of course. Now, when I first watched the film back in 2016, I really enjoyed it for what it was. And I was 14 years old when I watched it. And at that time, when I first watched the movie, I was really getting into cinema like I am now. And after watching it a second time and on the big screen, I gotta say, this movie is even better than I remember it. This is a beautiful film. The acting is absolutely superbly well done. The set designs are fantastic, and the score for this movie is absolutely phenomenal, and it actually fits perfectly with the time period this movie is set in. And it's a beautifully shot film, and overall, it's a beautiful film. And in my opinion, this is definitely one of Stanley Kubrick's best movies, and kind of an overlooked movie if you think about it. It's not really talked about as much as some of Kubrick's other movies like A Clockwork Orange, Full Metal Jacket, The Shining, Eyes Wide Shut, which I did a review on a while ago, and a couple of other movies. And it's hard to believe that some people find this movie dull. I find it really, really well done. And this film actually won some Oscars, including Best Cinematography and Best Score, I believe. And when I saw the film in theaters yesterday, there was actually an introduction by one of the staff members, since this was a staff-picked movie. And if you haven't guessed it, the Metro Cinema is a indie theater I went to when I saw the film yesterday. And according to the introduction, the person who was giving out the introduction said that Stanley Kubrick originally intended this film to be seen in theaters because seeing it on a TV kind of kills the vibe. And I gotta say, I gotta agree that this movie is best watched in theaters. Well, the film is long, it's 3 hours long, but it is well worth the watch. It's definitely a beautiful film and one of Stanley Kubrick's very best movies. And halfway through the movie, there was an intermission when I saw it. And there was actually a 7-minute long intermission that happened when the text on the screen that said intermission in the movie. I've never actually been to a movie that had an intermission before. Well, this was the first time I saw something like that in a movie. An intermission happening in the theater. And it probably won't be the last movie I'll see in a theater with an intermission. But I haven't read the novel that this film was based on, but maybe someday I'll check it out. Well, I don't have too much else to add to this review other than I really, really enjoyed this film. This is definitely one of Stanley Kubrick's best movies and kind of an overlooked film, like I said before. And it's definitely a very well done film. The acting is really well done. I think Marisa Berenson, I believe that's how you pronounce her last name, had the best performance out of everyone in this film. Believe it or not, her character only has 13 lines, which I didn't know that until I saw the introduction to this movie when I saw it in the theater yesterday. That's really interesting. Only 13 lines, and you have the best performance, and she mostly has her eyes doing some of the work, despite only having 13 lines in the movie, which is pretty interesting if you think about it. But yeah, once again, if you haven't seen the film, definitely check it out. It's one of Kubrick's best films, and it's a fantastic film. It's definitely worth the watch. And yeah, so I'm going to give Barry Lyndon an 8.9 out of 10. And that wraps up another edition of Keagan's Movie Reviews. So that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, as always, feel free to leave a like, leave a comment below, and subscribe for more videos like this. And as always, feel free to follow me on my Instagram, Letterboxd, and Serialized. The links are in the description, as always. And what do you guys think of this movie? Let me know in the comment section below. And what is your favorite Stanley Kubrick movie? Let me know in the comments as well. But yeah, guys, so anyways, thanks again for watching. And until next time, this is Keagan Shepard signing off. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day, everyone. Peace out.